Tigray Peace Force (TPF) opposition Tigray fighters group has announced to raise the salaries of TPF fighters. How much monthly salary, is being given to TPF fighters? Why is the salary going to be raised? What is the reason, and who is funding the budget of the TPF? Secondly, Somaliland has deported uh, more Ethiopians. Some have been living as refugees. Others have been living as just Ethiopians there. They did not apply for refugee status, but dozens have been uh, sent back to Ethiopia. I have a few questions about this decision made by Somalia. Let's start with this story about Somaliland. Somaliland has deported dozens of Ethiopians reportedly. The process started several months ago when Somaliland gave an ultimatum to illegally living Ethiopians to leave the territory. Somaliland government says that the deported Ethiopians did not have required permits, required residential documents. That is why they have been deported. Now, my question, viewers, is when Europe, when America deport African migrants, these African countries start protesting. They say Europe and America, Canada are against Africa, and that they don't want to share the wealth, the progress with Africans, and they don't treat Africans as equals. But what is happening in Africa? African countries deporting each other's nationals. If African countries don't respect each other's residents, each other's nationals, why would the US, the Canada, and EU countries respect Africans there? Firstly. Secondly, if Europe can implement humanitarian laws, if it can implement the protection laws about the status of refugee, status of asylum seekers, why can't African countries introduce such laws? But in African countries, in the Horn of Africa, such deportations are a norm, not an exception. I mean, Ethiopia deporting Eritreans, Djibouti deporting Ethiopians, Somaliland deporting Ethiopians. Ethiopia forced Sudanese back into Sudan. They came under attacks in the Amhara region, and Sudanese had to return to their country. So this is the refugees' plight in the Horn of Africa. Somaliland, by the way, is more stable than any other region in this part of the world. And Somalian authorities say that they want to stay as a secure, as a stable place. That is why they carry out strict monitoring, verification of those who enter Somaliland. Ethiopia is seeing huge illegal migration challenges these days. In the last 1 year, over 300,000 Ethiopians illegally migrated from Ethiopia, mostly through Djibouti, They tried to reach Yemen by sea, and they tried to enter uh, Saudi Arabia. Over 300 died this year, the last 6 months or so. Over 300, sorry, 300 lost their lives while taking the risk of going to Yemen by sea. Several boats capsized. So, economic hardships, the main problems for Ethiopians, for Eritreans, for other Africans to leave their countries. In the end, governments are responsible. Secondly, was how much TPF fighters are being paid monthly, on monthly basis. Tigray Peace Force fighters are mainly based in the far region of Ethiopia. Tigray leaders say that Ethiopian federal government, Ethiopian National Defense Force are funding TPF. They're providing logistical support, financial support, military support to TPF. Ethiopian federal government, ENDF deny, but definitely there are people, there are entities which are funding TPF. Tigray Peace Force has announced that it could announce the salaries, monthly salaries of the fighters. Tigray Regional Peace and Security Bureau head, General Fisseha Kidano, a few days ago spoke. He addressed TPF members and he said that Tigray government could raise the salaries of TDF members, Tigray military officials, soldiers, to 7,000 birrs. After the raise, the salary of a TDF soldier will be around 7,000. And this increase in salaries could happen next month. Why is that salary raise is being promised to TDF members? Well, reason is very simple. TPF, Tigray Peace Force, is giving more salary to its fighters than what the TDF members are getting. Now, TPF has announced, Tigray Peace Force, that if the salary of a TDF soldier is raised to 7,000 birrs per month, Tigray Peace Force will raise the salary of a TPF fighter to 10,000 birrs. It means that already TPF members are getting more salaries than TDF members. And TPF members have almost no duties to perform. They're just training themselves. They are being given salaries. They're being given housing. They're being given food. They're being given weapons, etc. So whatever salary they're getting, they can send it to their families. Question is, who is giving so much money to TPF? I mean, if TPF has a few thousand members and each of them is getting over 5,000 birrs per month, it means that millions of birrs are being spent on the salaries of TPF people, TPF fighters. I mean, Vedian Tiro is not in a position to pay each and every fighter of the TPF. It means the Ethiopian federal government is paying the salaries of TPF fighters. How can a country prosper economically when major chunk of its budget is going to security? Government is paying salaries of ENDF. And government and ENDF chiefs Jula said a few weeks ago that Ethiopia wants to raise 2 million army. Salaries being paid to militias, being paid to strike force, regional forces, federal police, Republican guards, prison police, uh, and then unofficially salaries are being paid to groups like TPF. When I'm not talking about weapon purchases too. Ethiopia buying weapons. Some are being bought just to modernize the military, just to strengthen the military. Though it's not that Ethiopia is in immediate need of such weapons, but just to enhance the capabilities of forces. Modern weapon systems are being purchased by the Ethiopian government. So everything happening indicates that the priority of the government is security. It wants to spend as much as it can on security. It means that budget for development, for human resource development is being cut. And the only sector where jobs are available for youths, where they can easily get jobs, is security sector. They can join any force easily. Thank you for watching.